Hey there, everyone. Again, my name is Hayden, and I'm with a client success team here at Matrix Networks. And today we're going to talk about the Elevate software, which is the desktop application that comes along with your mTALK phone system. Um, we're going to talk about how you can use it to control some of your calling functions, do internal messaging, team meetings through web chat and web meetings, um, and how to access your voicemails in kind of a visual voicemail environment rather than having to log into your desk phone using your voicemail pin. Okay, to start off, I just want to talk a little bit about the settings. So currently I have selected this bottom left picture, which takes me to my profile. Right now I'm logged in as Jeff Bezos, which is on our in-house demo system. And you can see that I have a 3-digit extension at 103, and I also have my own 10-digit DID. So this DID is unique to my profile. If someone calls that number, it's going to ring straight to my phone. Every phone on the mTALK system, every profile, I should say, will have its own direct dial number. And whether you publish that or not to your customers is up to you, but every phone is associated with one. Also in the settings here, I can change my picture. I can go into the application settings and change some of these things. One setting that I love to turn on is the receptionist view, which changes how you can basically see the other people in your organization, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. And then the other one you need to worry about is this, how you're basically running your computer phone. You can either have it set into the soft phone mode, which is what I have right now, where I'm just going to be using my headset. I'm not using a physical phone at all right now. But most people will be running it in call controller mode. When you select this, it'll link to the phone that you have associated with your account, which will be pre-programmed. And so all you have to do is hit the call controller mode, and that makes your computer desktop an extension of your desk phone. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to my profile. And what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna simulate a phone call. So I'm gonna call in from my cell phone, and it'll show up here at the top of the screen. I can show you what we can do with a call. So I'm gonna call that now. Make sure I mute myself over on this side. So as the call is coming in, you can see that I can either answer it, I can send it straight to voicemail, which will let it ring through, but it'll just go to voicemail, or I could just reject it, which immediately cuts off the call on their side as well. So I'm going to answer it, and I'm going to mute myself over here. Okay, so now I can see that I have all these different calling options up here at the top. The first one is the mute button. So if I hit this, now I'm muted. They're not hearing anything on the other side of the line. The second key over is the hold button, and obviously you can see that as I hover my mouse over this, the name of the button shows up, making it easy to remember. When I place this call on hold, similar to when I did that on the physical phones, I'm the only one that can take it off of hold. You can see that the color has changed. The status here associated with this call shows a little pause button that's on hold. It even says on hold how long the call's been going on. And to bring that call back so I can continue the call, all I got to do is that button is changed to resume. Boom, now it's blue again. Doesn't say I'm on hold, and now the call can continue. There's a dial pad here in case you need to dial any options on this call. The fourth button is a cool feature. It's called the flip feature. And when I press this button, it's actually going to place the caller on hold, and it is going to take the call away from my desktop application, and it's going to call my mobile app that's installed on my cell phone. I'm not going to do that right now because I have 2 calls going on my cell phone. That wouldn't work very well. But that's how you, like, if you want to take a call on the go, I answer it from my desk, but I need to go check out something in the warehouse or something. I can hit the flip button, put them on hold. It rings my cell phone. I answer it, and now I can take that call on the go from my cell phone. This is how we put calls into that general part queue, which we talked about before on the physical phones. And for those of you that didn't get that video or don't need that video, what the park feature does is that places the caller on hold, but instead of you being the only one that can come back to it, it places it in kind of a general pool where anyone associated with that phone park group is able to answer that call that's on hold from any phone, any location. It doesn't have to be the same one that put them on park. And then there's the transfer key. Now I'm going to hit transfer, and as I do that, you can see that it changes my screen and pulls up the other people that are associated on this account. Now we only have 5 profiles on this demo account, all of different CEOs. And so when I hit transfer, it brings up a list here. And as I take my mouse and I hover over the different options, you can see that these buttons appear. So the first one, you can read, it says warm transfer. What a warm transfer is that if I click this button, it's going to place the caller on hold, and it's going to connect me over here to extension 101, which is Bill Gates. And so while the caller is on hold, it's going to ring Bill, he picks it up, and then I can introduce the caller. I can say like, hey Bill, Elon Musk is calling in, really wants to talk to you. Are you available to take his call right now? Bill says yes, then all I got to do is complete the transfer. Boom, that's done. If he says no, then he can hang up, and I can go back and be like, hey, Bill's not available right now. Can I send you to his voicemail instead? And they're like, oh yeah, sure. And so you can see that this button right here is a transfer straight to voicemail, which is great if you know that they're not available to take the call, or if it's someone, telemarketer or something that they don't want to talk to. Other options we have right here in the middle is the blind transfer. So instead of introducing the caller, if I hit blind transfer, it just immediately initiates a transfer and sends Elon Musk straight through to Bill Gates, if whoever the caller is. Also below these pictures, you can see that there are little status bubbles that are appearing, and you can notice that this one actually just changed. So green stands for available. That means that Bill Gates is online, and that means that he is probably able to take a call. Elon Musk here has a yellow symbol, which shows that he's away. It means that he hasn't touched his computer in about 3 to 5 minutes, and so it doesn't think that he is around. It also means that he's not currently logged into his mobile app. And then there are the gray symbols that you can see both Meg Whitman and Tim Cook have underneath their pictures. And this shows that she has been offline since December 3rd. And so if you saw that, it's like, oh, okay, this person isn't even logged in to their desktop software. They're probably not available to take a call right now. I should transfer them straight to their voicemail. So it gives you a little bit of visibility that allows you to give the most call control available for your customers. Also, you can see right up here, there's the stop transfer button. I can click that, and now I'm no longer initiating a transfer for whatever reason. Okay, now that we've talked about some of the call controlling features of this system, we're going to start walking through these tabs over on the left. There's 6 different tabs, and we're going to describe what each of them do. So on the top left one, you can actually see that it has a little notification there, and that's because that's our messaging system. So this is both internal and external messaging. Internal is kind of like IM, instant message. External is an SMS texting availability. So when I go in here, click on this tab, it brings up all of my conversation history. So you can see that I have a conversation history with all my favorites here, Bill Gates, Tim Cook, everything. And you can see here, it keeps a record of our conversation, everything that was said, the time that it was said, when it was received, everything. And that's going to be continuous, so you're going to be able to go back and look at all of that history. You can also see that in the chat, you can see the other person's status and availability. And when I hover over that, it gives them like a contact card where I can see their DID, their extension, email, and then it has these buttons over here on the right. If I click on either of those phone buttons, it's going to initiate a call to that number. Over here in the top right, we have a few options. First button here is going to be our meeting button. So say I'm instant messaging back and forth with Bill Gates, and I decide, hey, it would be really helpful if we were able to get on a video conference right now and see each other face to face. I could share my screen, and we could work on something collaboratively. If I wanted to do that with him, I could hit this Meet Now button. It's going to launch a meeting on my end. It's going to send him an invitation, which he can then, it'll show up in his chat, and it'll say, Jeff Bezos is inviting you to a meeting, and click here to join. And then he could click and join in that web conference, and then we could start that together. The second button is the call button. So if I'm messaging back and forth, and I'm like, you know what, I just need to talk to him about this. So I, stop typing, and I come up here and I hit call, and that's going to ring Bill Gates' number. And then the final button is I can invite more members to join this chat and make it a group chat for team collaboration. And I actually did that down here in our recent conversations. So what I did is I added in all of these different members, myself, Jeff Bezos, and all of these 4 people. Put them all in a group together. So you can see that I added them to the chat here, the listing. And then at the top, I hit this little pencil button. And when I do that, I can change the name of the group. So I named it the Fantastic Five, and when I'm done, I can hit this little OK button, and now that is the name of this group, which now shows up over here in my chat histories as well. So I can see companies using this as if okay, I want to put together a sales team group. So I invite everybody from the sales team, and then I can rename it, Sales Group 1 or just Sales Group, whatever you want to name it. And then when you need to communicate with that entire team, you can come in here, type a message, attach a file, send an emoji, anything like that. And then everyone will be able to see it from their desktops. And it's also going to be on the mobile app as well. They sync in real time. Okay, the second tab down, this is going to be where the web conference meetings live. In this tab, I can start a meeting. You can see that I can join it by phone. The difference between joining my phone and starting my meeting is that this is going to connect me through my computer and use it's going to be able to, I'm going to see the screen and everything. If I want to just join by phone, I can dial that number and just get the audio. There's also a meeting URL here at the top, and this is customizable. So you can take this pencil button right here, erase this, and then type in whatever you'd like your URL to be. So you could be like, my meeting URL is anymeeting.com/Hayden York. And then that's really easy to remember, so I can give that out to people. So if they just want to type into their browser in order to join my meeting, they can just type that in and join. Also, I can copy my info here. I can send it out via email. Lots of easy ways to get your information out so that people can join you in these web conference meetings. The third tab here is a file sharing application. It's kind of like a Dropbox or other similar software where you can share files and store files together as a team, where that everyone that has permission can access them and use those documents. The fourth tab here is going to be our call history, the one that looks like a clock. So when I get in here, you can see that there's all these different history of calls. And when I take my mouse and I hover over one of these calls, you can see it has the date and everything, who called, what time, how long it was. From here, I can initiate a chat by hitting this button, which looks like the chat bubble, or I can give them a call by hitting this button here. If they're outside of the system, like this one here, external contact, the internal chat feature goes away, but I still have the ability to one-click dial them. Also here at the top, you can see that I can toggle between all calls that have been in the history or just a missed call. So if I click here, it'll show only the calls that have been missed. Next tab here is the voicemail tab. When we're on this voicemail tab, you can see I have one voicemail here, shows up as a notification because it's unread. And it has the caller ID of who called, what time they did, and the duration of the call. You can also see as I hover over this, it's an external contact, but I can SMS message them back by clicking this here, or I can give them a call. Now, to find out more information about this voicemail, I can actually click on it, and it's going to pull up this little window on the right that gives me some extra features. I can listen to the recording of what was said, and then it's going to give a rough transcription of the content of the call. So I can read that and kind of get the gist of the message and decide if I need to return that call or if it was just kind of a robocaller. The final tab here is the call controller tab. This is kind of the main dial pad and everything where you're going to be doing a lot of your call functions if you're using that from your desktop. You can see that there's a dial pad here on the right, and then it's going to have a list of all the different people in your company. I mentioned receptionist view earlier. When you have a receptionist view like I do, the dial pad will be on the right instead of the left, and this entire space will be filled out with as many company contacts as you have. And you can see here that it even has different tabs for different contacts. So that there's the Elevate users, which will likely be everyone in the company, but not necessarily, because there's also this company contacts tab. You can see added a few other people here that are associated with our company. And then there's the personal contacts, which I don't have synced right now, but I could have it synced to my Outlook. That would bring in all the different contacts that I have personally. It would only be available to me in my profile, and I could see their numbers and information in here as well. Okay, well that wraps up what we had to talk about for the desktop application. You can proceed to our final video, which is going to be talking about the Elevate mobile application. And I hope this was helpful today. I hope you're enjoying your new mTALK system. Thanks so much.